is here, that ice cold Michelle fight for that white gold. Oh, what up? What up, y'all? Day here from Omni Nation Comics, and I am back. This video is so late, but I wanted to do this before I go on with the other videos. I never had a chance to reflect on my top 5 reads of 2024, and I had a blast on a lot of books that I read last year, or some of the ones that I even revisited. And oh man, 2024 was a great year for reading for me. I just must say. Y'all, I also messed up too. I even got into singles again last year, because there were so many good titles as well coming out of that too, which is probably another video for a whole nother day. But before I get started on this list though, I will say all of these books that I'm naming right now, they are still in print, and I'll tell you how to get them once we done. Now, let's get the ball rolling. All right, let's kick it off with our first one at number 5. This is Birthright by Joshua Williamson and artwork by Andre Breslin. This, first of all, look at this cover. Ain't this fantastic? Ain't this beautiful? Good God the mighty. Now this is an independent comic. This is under Image Comics too. And now the story deals with the Rhodes family here. And there's a character, this kid named Mikey Rhodes. And he happens to be playing catch with his dad, you know, in the middle of the valley near this forest. Dad ends up throwing this ball at an interesting distance. And Mikey goes after this ball and happens to disappear. Now, the family is devastated by that disappearance. But, you know, and I'm going to tell a little bit of a minor spoiler to just set up what's going on here. Mikey ends up disappearing to this kind of fantasy world, right? It's called Tyrannos. And years later, after the devastation that this family went through from Mikey going missing, someone shows back up to this family as this kind of Conan, this big old Conan-looking warrior with these big weapons and big muscles and a beard, telling the family that he just might be Mikey who makes the return. But Mikey, if it is him, he's not who he seems to be, or is he not? It's not your ordinary family reunion. And he goes on telling them that Earth is going to be in danger. And the story goes on from there. This is a great fantasy adventure. And of course, there's battles in here from people coming from Tyrannos to Earth as well. Like you have these different sorcerers, monsters, etc. It's so fun. I had a blast. This is one of my favorite independent titles ever. And Joshua Williamson wastes no time with this story. It's a fast-paced read full of so much energy and heart. I love it. And Andre Breslin's art on this is absolutely fantastic. It truly matches the tone of the story. I absolutely love it. It's the perfect team. Great story. Oh, I highly recommend reading this. Too good. Number 4, Daredevil by Chip freaking Zdarsky. I'm sorry to say it like that, but it's true. Chip Zdarsky, oh my God. For a man that is so funny, he writes a really dark and gritty story on one of the most consistently written characters in all of comics, and that is Daredevil, aka Matt Murdock. The Devil of Hell's Kitchen just cannot catch a break, y'all. In this story, Matt makes a horrible mistake that causes him to cross the line. And throughout this whole story, you get to see him wrestle with that mistake while dealing with more of these vigilantes and villains around Hell's Kitchen. And of course, by the way, Wilson Fisk, I'm not going to tell you what he's up to in this run for those that haven't read it. But for those that do know, of course, he ain't up to no good. And I can't believe he even got this far for what he's doing in this run. But I praise this run for a few reasons. Because of how character driven it is, how compelling it is, and how much Chip Zdarsky really focuses on Matt Murdock's struggle with the guilt and the redemption and justice. It's really, there was a scene in here that really, it moved me. It moved me to tears emotionally. It's awesome to see how he deals with Matt Murdock's psyche. It's really dark and grim and dirty, but it's really relatable because we can all relate to how we've made a mistake and we just keep beating ourselves up about it. I love how deep that is in this run. I really praise that a lot. Matt Murdock, or Daredevil, whichever one you want to call him, he's not just, you know, a superhero. You know, I always see him as a deeply flawed human being. And that's what makes a lot of his stories feel so real to me, because I go through a lot of the same struggles that Matt go through. So yeah, this book it's absolutely amazing. I got to do a whole in-depth review on this, because I really do praise this. I can relate to the story a lot. Yeah, and the artwork, let me not leave that out. The artwork is by Marco Cacchetto. That guy, I always said this run was cinema on paper, not just for Zdarsky's script, but Marco Cacchetto's cinematic artwork. It is absolutely fantastic. It looked like it came from the big screen. Oh, y'all gotta get that book. It's amazing. For those that like crime noir, that book is for you too. Let me move. Oh, for my number 3, it is gonna be Geiger. This is written by Jeff Johns, artwork by Gary Frank. Look at this cover, first of all. Look at this cover. Don't it look ripped? Ain't that crazy? That's so cool. It look ripped. Look at the damage. Oh man, it's one of the most gorgeously designed books. But anyway, this is under Image Comics' new imprint, Ghost Machine, which I don't hear many people talking about. Oh man, I love the titles that come out of Ghost Machine. That's a whole nother video too, for a whole nother day. But this story deals with Tariq Geiger, who happens to be a family man and scientist. This takes place in the distant future. I believe it said 2030. But there is this explosion that happens at this war called the Unknown War, and Tariq happens to prepare for this by creating this bunker to help protect his family. Now when this explosion does happen, you will see further years later Tariq becomes this glowing man. I mean, this man that's filled with this crazy radiation, and becomes this protector of this crazy post-apocalyptic wasteland. Now, I love this story because behind this glowing man, Tariq Geiger is still in there. He's a little bit more tougher than ever, but he still has a heart. Now, this wasteland is filled with warlords and different creatures and whatnot, and also in the city of Las Vegas. Huh? My city of Las Vegas. In the story, the glowing man is a urban legend. People tell stories about this urban man. Does he still exist? And da-da-da. It's such a fun story. It's a nice sci-fi action adventure that's filled with a lot of substance and heart. Also, I can't forget to mention that Tariq does have this dog named Barney, and he's a two-headed wolf-looking dog and I love it. It's very ferocious. I love this dog because it really gives him comfort. It's so cool. But this character Geiger, he just wants to be left alone, and people just keep messing with him. And when you push this guy who just wants to be left alone, I'll leave you to answer that, because things do go far. But yes, this is a fantastic story. Oh my god, this is so much fun. Oh my god, we're going to DC with my favorite hero ever from DC, and this is The Flash by Joshua Williamson. Yes, and artwork by Carmine D. Lord, I don't want to mess his name up. Carmine D. Giandomenico. There it is. This is the rebirth era of The Flash, and Barry Allen is back. Well, he's been back since the New 52, which is the last era of DC before this. Joshua Williamson does a really good job of reestablishing Barry Allen in Central City, from going back to being a forensic scientist and you know, reconnecting with Iris and all that other good stuff. By the way, I love when they show his police scientist side when he's working with the police on a crime scene. I love that, because he uses those skills when he's under the Flash persona, when he's under the costume. Those skills really do come into play. And the villains of this story, I will say, yes, you will get the rogues in here, but there's a new villain that Joshua Williamson introduced in here, and his name is Godspeed. You talking about scary? A villain that's going around and wanting to take other speedsters' powers. And there's a personal reason why he's doing that. It's very, very scary. He was birthed out of this Speed Force kind of like storm. And that storm happened to have hit certain people around the city that caused them to get speedster powers, which is a really dope concept. But Godspeed is nothing to play with. This story is really one of Barry's most personal journeys. I put this up there with Flashpoint that took place in the New 52 as well, because it's so personal. Joshua Williamson, this was definitely written by a fan. I love the inner dialogue and the personal journeys that he takes Barry throughout this run. And this is just volume 1. Yeah, I love this run. It's so amazing. I love it. I love it. And the last one, I guess DC really did have my heart last year. But this last one, when this was released, I was so glad to actually have it. And I'm glad that they're actually doing an omnibus of this whole run. But this is one of DC's little compendiums. I call it a compendium at least. This is Superman Warworld Saga. This was my read of the year last year. Oh my God. I was so inspired. And this is just a storyline. Look how thick this sucker is. This is a whole nearly year-long storyline. It's the Warworld Saga. This is a story of Superman hearing a call to rescue the descendants of Krypton from this planet called Warworld, who is under the evil rule of Mongol. This is a crazy fantasy sci-fi adventure. It was some moments in here where I'm questioning. I'm like, was this a superhero book? Because the artwork is by Daniel Sapir and Riccardo Federici, which, by the way, Riccardo Federici's artwork that takes place later on the Warworld planet. My God, did it feel like a dark fantasy epic. It's really beautiful. And this is written by Philip Kennedy Johnson. I don't know why I said that in the first place. His writing in here is absolutely fantastic, and it truly captures the essence of who Superman is. You have this character going to rescue these people and teaching them what hope and compassion looks like, because all they know is war. All they know is bondage. All they know is, you know, just being in pain all the time. And Superman just goes over there and shows them hope. I love this story. It's so inspiring. It really reminds us who Superman is as a character. My God, do I recommend this. This was such a ride. I love this. So good. Also excited that, this is going to be included in that Superman by Philip Kennedy Johnson omnibus that's coming out later on this summer. And oh my God, I cannot wait to get my hands on that Joker. But if y'all can't afford an omnibus, go get this. I mean, his run is collected in trades, and this storyline is in this fat kind of like compendium, kind of like book. But it's so good. It's so good. Oh man, you're in for a treat if you have never read this. Or if you've never experienced Superman, I highly recommend this. Alright guys, that is the end of my top 5 reads of 2024. If you want to get any of these, our channel sponsor, Organic Price Books, they still have these in print right now. Go get them while you can. I got the codes right here if you want to save some money and support the channel. I appreciate you guys for watching, and I'm looking forward to the next video because you're in for a treat. But y'all have a blessed one. I gotta go. Thank y'all so much. See you later. Deuces.